Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the classroom. It's Mr. Low, and today we are moving on to the next topic, which is chapter 6 Functions and Linear Graphs. Now, in this topic, we are going to learn about this thing called coordinates. Basically, it's about the labeling of the position of a point, okay, with respect to uh, a, a particular point where you stand, for instance. Okay, so for in this chapter, we're gonna learn how to plot, how to label all these points, okay, on the graph paper, and then we are gonna use all these points to do some mathematical calculations. All right. Before we begin, I'm gonna show you a rather interesting or cute example that you might have encountered before that requires you to use coordinates. Okay, let's take a look. Now, if you have played the video game Pokemon before, this will look extremely familiar to you. Okay, so imagine we have our character here, Ash Loser. Yep. Okay, so he's standing there by the roadside, minding his own business, and just beside a grass patch. Yeah. Okay, so as a friend, you happen to see a PG standing, hiding in the bushes at that particular spot. Right, and you want to tell your friend Ash, who loves to collect PG, that hey, there's a PG over there. All right. So you notice that the PG is at 5 spaces to the right of Ash and 4 spaces upwards. All right. So this is how can you tell Ash where the PG is? Well, you can simply shout to Ash, Ash, there's a PG 5 spaces to the right and 4 spaces upwards from where you are. Isn't that a mouthful? It's a very long sentence, isn't it? And if you're gonna say that, Ash is probably not gonna understand or not gonna catch the information uh, that you're trying to say. And by the time you're done with the sentence, the PG is probably gonna fly off anyways. So what if there is a better way to tell Ash Loser where the PG is? Well, imagine this, right? Same thing, 5 spaces, 4 spaces, right? Now what if I say, Ash, there is a PG at 5 4, 5 4, or whatever you want to say it, 5 4 from where you are. Now isn't it a much shorter sentence? Okay? Now Ash is probably gonna catch the information and the PG is in trouble. All right, so what have I done here? Notice the bracket 5 4. Can you see how am I representing the information over here? So here I assume that Ash Loser is standing at a spot 0, 0, and that the PG, being at 5 spaces to the right and 4 spaces upwards, I assign two numbers 5, 4 to where the PG is. Now this is what we call coordinates. Okay, the location is represented by two numbers. Okay, and this is called the coordinates of a particular point with respect to a, a position 0, 0. So in this case, the coordinate of PG is 5, 4 with respect to where Ash Loser is, which is 0, 0. Okay, so in terms of mathematics, yeah, this is what we call a coordinate system, x comma y, whereby x is an imaginary line drawn horizontally, okay, from the left pointing to the right. You can see the arrow over here, okay, and that y is a line drawn from Ash, again from Ash, in the upward direction. As you can see, the arrow points outwards, and you can then label, okay, the equal spacing from Ash, which is 0, 0, to where the object is, okay, the point of interest is. So in this case, PG is 5 spaces to the right, so we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's where the x coordinate of PG is. This is what we call the x coordinate. Okay, the x coordinate of PG is 5, while the y coordinate of PG is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 spaces above Ash. Okay, so Ash is at 0, 0, and the PG is at 5, comma 4. All right, so this is how we use the coordinate system to label positions of points with respect to a point 0, 0. Okay, so mathematically speaking, this is how a coordinate system looks like. You have the purple dot at the center, 0, 0, which we call it the origin. Right, the center where the x and y axis, okay, these are the x and y axis, the arrow here, this is called the x-axis, and this is called the y-axis. Where the two axes meet each other, this is where the origin is, 0, 0. Okay, and we can start, labeling the x coordinates along the x-axis and the y coordinates along the y-axis. Of course, since this point is below 0, 0, we have a y coordinate of -1, -2, -3, so and so on, so and so forth, right? So each point along this coordinate axis, okay, is given a coordinate. In this case, for the green one, the x coordinate is 2, the y coordinate is 3, so we assign a coordinate of 2, 3 with the brackets. All right, so a bit more complicated one, this blue color one, you can see that its x coordinate is 1.5, or rather the -1.5. Okay, so how you do this is you draw a vertical line, dotted line, until it reaches the x-axis and you read off where it is. Okay, for the y coordinate, you draw a horizontal dotted line until it touches the y-axis, until it touches the vertical y-axis, and then you read off what is the number there. So it's -1.5 over here and -2.5 over here. All right, so let's see another, rather a more real life example of when do we use coordinates. You might have learned in geography about this longitude and latitude system, whereby the world map is divided into coordinates as well, just that we don't call it x and y coordinates. The x-axis is instead replaced by longitude, and the y-axis is replaced by latitude. Yeah, so instead of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we use angles, okay, to represent the different points. So for instance, our dear Singapore is somewhere here, right? So it's about 1.35 north, so it's slightly above the equator. This is the 0-degree line along the latitude is the equator. It's just slightly above the equator, somewhere here, and it's 103.8 east, right? So as we move to the right hand side along the longitude axis, is towards the east, right? So this is the 0 point. Yeah, so let's go back to the notes. All right, so we have seen how a coordinate system roughly looks like. Okay, in the slides, this is something that you have seen. All right, so repeat again, there is a origin over here, 0, 0, and the rest of the points, we assign a coordinate, right? Two numbers, the x coordinate followed by the y coordinate, okay, for this point. All right, so this figure shows what we call a Cartesian plane. This whole um, diagram here is what we call a Cartesian plane, which consists of two number lines. The two number lines are the x-axis. Okay, it's essentially a number line, right? Because -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So they are essentially number lines, something that we've learned before. Okay, so one is horizontal, one is vertical. They are x and y axis. Okay, so when these two lines meet each other or intersect, okay, at right angles, this point, as I said just now, is called the origin. All right, we assign a letter O to call it origin. Yeah, okay. Now, as I said just now, the horizontal axis is called the x-axis, which we label with the letter X over here. Okay, and the vertical axis is the y-axis, which we label by the letter Y. Now, in this chapter and subsequently in your mathematical career, you will be told to plot out all these things. okay, to plot coordinates, to set up a Cartesian plane. All right, so all you need to remember is, number one, you need to have the label x and y axis. All right. Okay, secondly, it is important that your number line has an arrow at the top. Okay, so don't forget. Okay, if you don't have this in any of your diagrams, marks will be deducted. Yeah. Okay, so in general, each point P on the plane, each point here, such as this point A, okay, we assign it with we tell the location by assigning it an ordered pair. This is what we call an ordered pair. Essentially, it's the x coordinate and the y coordinate. All right, so for instance, over here, no, for a general point that we don't assign a number, if this x coordinate over here is x, y coordinate is y, then this point P over here, okay, has a coordinates of x, comma, y, x, y, yeah? And we close it up with a bracket. Okay, so moving on. Okay, in this example, you're told to just plot out the points. Plot means just locate the point. Okay, these few points over here on the Cartesian plane in the graph given below. Right, I believe this question is not filled out for you. So let's take a look. Okay, so for point A, is 2.8 comma 1. 2.8 comma 1. So remember, in this ordered pair, 2.8 comma 1, the x coordinate is 2.8 while the y coordinate is 1. Okay, remember it always comes in a pair, x comma y. All right, so let's go down to the graph paper to locate where is A. Of course, this is already done for you, but I'm going to show you how you're going to do it. Okay, now the axis, you see that in the graph paper, they are made out of big boxes. Okay, these are these boxes, all right, which each contain a 5 by 5 small little box, right? This little box here, 5 by 5. So there are 25 of them. Okay, now you can see actually your gut sensing should tell you, you see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes between 0 and 1. So what is each box representing? Well, it should be 0.2, right? So 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, 1.0, right? In case you're not too sure how I get 0.2, essentially is you take 1, right, 1 over here divided by 5 boxes. So you know that each more box represents 0.2, right? Now I need to locate 2.8. Where on earth is 2.8? Well, it should be between 2 and 3. And you expect it to be closer to 3, right, compared to 2. So let's go in between 2 and 3, yeah? Okay, so this is 2.2, 2.4, 2.6, followed by 2.8, right? So once you have located 2.8 over here, what you can do is use a ruler and you draw a dotted line upwards. Okay, you draw a dotted line upwards, not too far, because you know that 1 is somewhere around here. Okay, right, so that tells you that A should lie along this dotted line because that is the x coordinate of point A. Right, so I'm going to complete the point A by finding its y coordinate, which is 1 over here. So simple. So I'm going to just draw a horizontal dotted line until it reaches the vertical dotted line that I drew earlier. All right, so this 1 is the y coordinates of point A, and the point whereby these two dotted lines meet each other, I'm gonna mark a cross. Do not use dots. I know that in the diagram above, okay, they use dots to represent to mark out, you know, points, but do not do that. You should instead be using crosses. Of course, not too big, not too small, yeah, just enough for the examiners to see. Right, so you should be using crosses. So now once I'm done with marking out the cross, I will write out A bracket 2.8 comma 1 to tell the examiner or anyone reading that this point is point A and it has coordinates of 2.8 and 1. Okay, so you're going to do this for um, the, the rest of the points. Okay, for instance here, let's look at D. Okay, I'm going to show you another example. D has coordinates 3 and 0. That means the x coordinate is 3. So I'm going to look for 3 over here. Okay, let me erase this a bit. Okay, I'm looking at the coordinate 3, which is exactly here. All right, and then I know that the y coordinate is 0. Oh, hang on. Where is y coordinate 0? Where is the dotted line that I should draw for y equals to 0? If you go down the y-axis and you see that, oh, 0 is over here. So that means the dotted line is actually exactly along the x-axis. Okay, so here's the trick. Any point along the x-axis, any point, let's say here, I don't care where, okay, any point along the x-axis, guarantee the y-coordinate is 0. Okay, I repeat myself again. Any point along the x-axis, I don't care where it is, right? Guarantee that the y-coordinate must be 0. So for instance, if I'm looking at this point over here, right? Sorry, I should use a cross, right? To label, okay? So if I'm looking at this point over here, it has y-coordinate of 0 for sure because it is lying along the x-axis. Its x-coordinate, well, -1, as you can tell, right? So it's quite clear. Now, so where on earth is D? 3, 0? Well, it's along the x-axis and it has x coordinate of 3. So exactly here. So I have D 3, 0. Done. All right, so please do so for the other 2 points. Okay, make sure you get the exact position correctly. There is no point just staring at it and roughly mark a point, for point C, because you have to be dead precise. 1.4 is around here, okay, as you can tell. All right, so moving on, write down the coordinates of points A, B, C, D, and E in the diagram. So now they have labeled, the points for you, and your task is to tell us what is the coordinate. Remember, to tell us the coordinate, you need to give me 2 numbers, the x coordinate and the y coordinate. Okay, so let's start with point A here. Right, point A, how do I read what is the x coordinate? Well, I draw a dotted line vertically down until it touches the x-axis. It's 3. Okay, so I start off with a bracket. This gives me the x coordinate. How about the y coordinate? Well, I draw a horizontal dotted line. Of course, please use your ruler. I'm doing freehand here. That's not good. And I reach 2. Oh, a very nice number. 3, 2. And I'm done. This is the coordinate of point A. Alright, so you're going to do so for the rest. So let's do it together. Let's look at point B over here. Point B has x coordinate of -3 and y coordinate of 2. Okay, in case you're not too sure, please draw the dotted lines if you cannot see clearly, right? Move on. Where's my C? C is here. Okay, so C has x coordinate of, well, also -3. This time it has y coordinate of -1. How about D? Now D lies exactly along the y-axis, right? It lies on the vertical axis. Now, if anything lies along the vertical axis, guarantee its x coordinate is 0. Can you see why? If you follow the argument for point D just now, I said any point that lies along the x-axis, the y coordinate is guaranteed to be 0. Likewise, if any point lies on the vertical axis, the y-axis itself, the x coordinate is guaranteed to be 0. Why? because over here x is 0. Can you see that? All right. So x coordinate is 0. Then what is the y coordinate? Well, it's lying on point number 1. So 0, comma 1. For e, we have done similar things before. The x coordinate is 1. The y coordinate is guaranteed 0. All right. So you're done for this part. Labeling of the points. Usually, you're not told to label the points. Instead, you're told to construct, to mark out the coordinates itself. All right, so that's it for this video. We will continue the next part of the lesson. Okay, we're going to start to draw on our own the axis and start to put in points. Okay, this time you need a piece of graph paper. I hope you have a piece of graph paper at home. If not, please take the time from now to the next lesson to grab it. All right, that's it for today. I'll see you the next video. Take care.